If you woke up in county jail this morning, then you're probably Sherrone Moore.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not Doug Collins.
If you're still in county jail right now, you're probably Sherrone Moore.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not. If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably
Sherrone Moore.
not Doug
And
Collins.
can you imagine for a
If you're
second?
getting ready for work right
I mean, just
now,
imagine
then
that for a
you're
second.
probably not Doug Collins.
Imagine waking up in county, Alvy, thanks. Waking up in county jail this morning and realizing that's not a nightmare. That all actually happened. Yesterday, the dude woke up as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. Today, he woke up in county jail. Oh, and he's no longer the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. His dream job that he never actually deserved, yet somehow secured. And just treated it like, quote, he took himself a deuce. You're not just going to sit there and stare at it. You flush it and you move on. That's what he just did with his dream job. He flushed it right down the toilet, but good luck just moving on. And that might not be all he lost. It's all beyond belief to me, even for Michigan man, which I'll get to in a minute. But the fact that Sherrone Moore managed to pull off a scandal legitimately more scandalous than any of Jim Harbaugh's many scandals really is beyond comprehension. And yet, here we are. Here the bleep we are. Of all the dramatic things I've ever seen, this has got to be right up there. Getting fired is one thing. Getting fired for cause is another thing. Getting fired for cause and then arrested and then spending the night in jail is something totally different. And Sherrone Moore pulled off all three in one shot. The Michigan man trifecta. If you were holding that ticket, man, that had to pay. That had to pay. Arrested as part of an alleged assault investigation, which is obviously not good. Below not good. Now, we don't know the actual charges yet, but we do know that he spent the night in custody and remains in custody, even as we speak, and likely will remain in custody until his expected arraignment tomorrow. Now, I'm no lawyer, but no charges, no bond. Pretty strange, right? Of course, this is where the internet fills in the gaps with wild speculation. Of course, I'm not going to do that. But I will look at what some very well-sourced people in Ann Arbor are saying. As an example, John U. Bacon, a very well-respected journo based in Ann Arbor who's been covering the program for decades. He went to Michigan. He's taught at Michigan. He is a Michigan man through and through, and obviously has excellent sources. Here's what he said went down in terms of the firing itself. He posted, quote, more information. UM conducted an internal investigation interviewing both Moore and the employee, separately, I presume, this summer. Both said, quote, no how and no way, end of quote, anything was happening between them, which didn't give you much to go on. Her account flipped yesterday morning, end of quote. Hence the sudden firing. Bacon also says that Moore's being, quote, protected by mental health professionals around the clock, end of quote, which is both alarming and a possible explanation as to why he's still in custody and why there is no bond information. Now, I know a lot of tinfoilers are convinced that everybody was going to look the other way if he beat Ohio State. And a lot of tinfoilers are convinced that the timing of this is not a quinky dink. That it all blew up this week because they needed to get the recruiting class signed first before they could run their coach. The tinfoilers are all convinced that everybody already knew this was going on. The same tinfoilers are convinced that the timing of it all came to light and that it had everything to do with the football schedule and nothing to do with this staffer coming forward. Look, maybe there is some truth to that, but that's not what the school was saying. The school is saying the new info came to light, and evidently that info was the female staffer herself confirming their inappropriate relationship. So, hope that's worth it. We all know it's undefeated, but generally it doesn't also cost you everything. No, actually, yes, it does. It has wrecked it. It has wrecked more careers and more lives than almost anything. And that might be the case right here. Again, losing the job. I want to be very clear about this. We don't know exactly what happened, although there's more and more details coming out. But losing the job and getting arrested are totally different things. One did not necessitate the other. They're not one and the same. And we have fewer details on why he was arrested, although, again, more information is coming out. We know the police were called to the female staffer's house yesterday, as well as his listed address. And we know that Moore was taken into custody. It's about all we know right now. But obviously, when you hear alleged assault investigation, it generally does not end well. In fact, it almost always ends really poorly. This chaos makes the Connor Stallions thing looks like child's play, which it basically was compared to this. Even former offense coordinator Matt Weiss's creepy computer access crimes seem small time compared to this. And that dude had the feds crawling all over Ann Arbor. And an indictment. It's almost like Moore thought that his job was to one-up the scandals of his predecessor. Like that was part of the expectation, part of the new Michigan man standard. There's the bar, Michigan man. Top that. Like if you're gonna be the Michigan head coach, you better bring the drama. You better embarrass us. You better bring shame to the program. You better batter our brand even further and make us look even more ridiculous. If anybody's been paying attention for the past 5 years, that was what the great men of Michigan have been doing. If you're going to be a real man of Michigan, you better cheat. You better get the attention of the feds. You better get fired and arrested on the same day. The standard is the standard. Am I right, Michigan man? Of course, this guy would have never been the head coach of Michigan had it not been for all of Michigan's scandals in the first place. His head coaching career was born out of scandal, and it just died in scandal as well. It's a job he probably never deserved. It's a job he got because he was a good, loyal soldier during all the Harbaugh scandals, and he deleted his texts with Connor Stallions, and he cried on national TV. That's why they let him have that job. Not because he was some rising star in the coaching profession. So this dude throws away a dream job that he probably never, ever deserved or could have gotten. And he probably threw away a hell of a lot more than just that job. Hell, Mel Tucker cannot believe how badly this dude just bleeped his life up. Even Bobby Petrino is like, damn, dude, this bleep is embarrassing. Clean it up, brah. Tighten up your game. I mean, like I said, the whole thing is beyond belief. And again, I'm not going to get into the speculation of what he may or may not have done. Again, there are more details trickling out that we'll get to. Some of it's pretty wild. The rumors are pretty horrifying. Hopefully we'll know more soon. But for now, here's what we do know. There are facts, and the facts are wild enough. The facts are hard enough to believe. The facts are the former Michigan head coach is sitting in jail right now while the police sort through an alleged assault investigation and the world sorts through one of the most stunning implosions in the history of college sports. Even if it was only more. Hey, Michigan man, if you want to start to clean this up, start to re-earn the nation's respect, and by the way, open up your eyes. Look beyond Ann Arbor and see what people think. If you want to start to reclaim your dignity, your honor, your tradition, the first thing I would do is not replace this disgraced Michigan man with another Michigan man, because it's the Michigan men that got you in all this trouble in the first place. Now what? So we're going to continue to monitor that and see what details come out. He's still in jail. And again, I want to make that very clear. He's not in jail because he got fired. These are not one and the same things. He was fired because he violated university policy. He was not arrested because he violated university policy. He was not charged with losing to the Buckeyes. He was not apprehended for not making the college football playoff. He was fired for violating university policy. Had it ended there, he would not be in jail. What he did after the fact landed him in jail. We don't know what he did after the fact. There is no official charge at this point. Unofficially, though, there is speculation. Going back to the journo, John U. Bacon. And again, he's covered that program. He taught at that school. He is well immersed. This is what he had to say in an interview earlier about Moore and him being taken into custody. This is on Good Day Detroit.
Fires Sherrone Moore sometime after noon yesterday, one-on-one in their office. After that, this is where we're getting to your part. He broke into the employee's home in Pittsfield Township, which is between Ann Arbor and Saline, Michigan. Grabbed a knife, apparently, and threatened to harm her and harm himself. And that's when he became into protective custody in Michigan. So that's where that one stands.
So that's where that one stands. So that's where that stands. Just the old broke into her house, grabbed a knife, threatened to harm himself, and threatened to harm her. Quote, that's where that stands. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. That's pretty terrifying. That's not putting on a disguise and stealing signs. That's not Hamburger Gate. That's not recruiting violations. I mean, hacking a bunch of young athletes' accounts to steal pictures is pretty freaking bad. Really freaking bad. If the feds are swarming and they have an indictment in hand, that's pretty freaking bad, Michigan man. But it may not be as bad as this. Maybe. Gets fired, allegedly breaks into her house, grabs a knife, and threatens to harm himself and her. Terrifying stuff, if true. And again, like I said, the day before this guy woke up as the head coach at Michigan. And something else, Michigan man, that I'm hearing that makes no sense to me at all. This whole thing about this was not a well-kept secret. And? What is that supposed to mean? Like, we're not only now hearing about this. This was not a well-kept secret. What? The rumors have been all over campus for weeks. And what? And what? I have no idea exactly what Michigan man is doing with that information. What does that have to do with anything at all? Why don't we focus on exactly what happened or what has been alleged to have happened and not what you knew and did nothing with? Well, what does that mean? This isn't new. You know what is new? He got fired. You know what is new? The fact that she volunteered this information, which led to him getting fired after they both denied it earlier. You know what else is new? Him allegedly breaking into her house with a knife and threatening himself and her. I'll bet you, Michigan man, you didn't know about that. I bet you didn't know about that for several weeks. You couldn't have. It just happened. So what is this nonsense about this was not a well-kept secret? There's been rumors for a long time. And, man, Miss me with that. Or this other nonsense about, man, they had it in for Sherrone. And? What do you mean they had it in for him? They handed him a job that he did not deserve. Yeah, but he didn't win enough games, so they had it in for him. What are you doing with this nonsense? They had it in for him. We've heard all these rumors. Like on the inside, you're trying to say, y'all are overreacting. We knew about this. They had it in for him. Man, get the tinfoil hats off of your head, and let's just look at the facts and what's going on. And now what? And what are you going to do to clean this up? And where do you go from here? Michigan man, sorry, but that holier than thou, we are not like the rest, we are better than the rest. Actually, you're not. Actually, you're just like the rest. Actually, you're worse than the rest. Why do I say that? I saw something online whereby seven of Harbaugh's assistants had been picked up. 7 for some sort of transgression. Various transgressions. 7. Not 1, not 2. That from @Darko State News. If that's accurate, quote, Michigan has had 11 staffers either arrested, 7, or banned from the sport for rules violations, 4, since Jim Harbaugh arrived. Holy crap. That's even worse than what I said. 7 arrested and 4 banned from the sport. Hey, Jimbo, quite a tree, quite a culture. Hey, man, but you got your natty. You got your natty, right? They can't take that from you, Michigan man. Hope that was worth it.